Yeah, I'm coming from academical school somehow. We study a lot of art history. We were looking at the artists. We were trying to refer our work to the practice of art before of us. So somehow that kind of dialogue was quite present in my practice. But at the same time, this new way of working, this trying to deal with experience, trying to deal with the immediacy of things around you, and creating this kind of detachment from these, art references. So with Britma, I can say that becomes like, it's like a strange meeting between a moment coming from found footage in a video wedding in the mountains of Albania, and then all these references coming from art history, like sometimes it looks, of course, like a Munch painting, sometimes it looks like Bacon, sometimes it looks like Severini or a kind of abstract painting. So for me, these kind of meetings, these kind of encounters that happen between something that has nothing to do with art and something that keeps the memory of art in it is very important. And one of the reasons why, for example, I liked and I was interested in Pasolini's work was exactly that, that he was like putting together in his films this kind of freshness coming from a way of looking to the reality that was quite immediate and direct, and going to the real people. In the context of Rome or in the village of Italy, and then still having the presence of this memory coming from the painting of the Renaissance, and this mix was coming together in a very natural way, but even in a very strong way. So somehow I was keeping this attention toward these elements of connection between art reference and something coming from a totally different context. I think the ritual is a fictional element that we put in our life experience just to mark these moments of change. So normally we have rituals, in important moments of change in our life, and it's strange, how we need the fiction to be part of that moment. So somehow it's quite related with life experience. It's quite related with the need coming from the life experience, but then it brings this experience to a moment of rituality, to a moment of theatrality, and I am interested in these moments, when we create fiction to face these moments of life. And here we are in this room, where we see this somehow the last moments of a bride before she leaves her father's house, and she's like taking pictures with her family, but instead of a photo camera, there is a video camera in this room. So somehow we experience even these kind of gestures, but at the same time they are like posing in front of the camera, like in front of a photo camera. So this strange connection between the stillness, like standing, and movement, and making some gestures, and having something like it's like these movements around the bride somehow interested me, and I wanted to focus on this. China you can make a good deal with making their sculpture, because they have good marble, they have cheap labor, but they can be even quick in delivering it, because they can work during the trip on the boat. And when I heard this story, I mean, I found that very absurd. You know, it sounded wrong, but at the same time, it had something fabulous. You know, this piece of marble being carved in the boat during the trip. I mean, had in my vision a lot of potentialities. So I was thinking about these potentialities. I was thinking about, you know, how this story was putting together different elements. It was putting together the dynamics between Western culture and Eastern culture, the dynamics between the capitalistic Western world and China. The geography was involved, like, you know, the ocean, and then this piece of nature, you know, this stone coming, you know, from a mountain, that being detached from the mountain and being then put on this boat, and then being transformed in a piece of culture somehow through the work of the Chinese. The question of the work, the question of the exploitation of the work. So all these elements were working together in this story, and what I wanted to do was to activate all these potentialities that I found in the story. But I wanted to activate them by making it happen really, like going to China, not using actors, not making it like a fake, but like doing it for real. But at the end, I mean, it shouldn't be like a documentary of this real thing that happened, but it should go back to the first vision, you know, to this idea that, you know, a story can suggest you more than can just tell you how things are. Yeah, so I mean, it was a long process. It was a long process before with the idea in my head, and then of course in making it happen, and then of course with filming and editing it. So until the last moment, you know, it was a work to give a rhythm to the piece in a way that, you know, it at the same time it's facing this vision that I had in the beginning, but at the same time the whole experience, the real experience that we went through for making it happen. Immediacy in the first works, and then being more abstract in the last one is right, you know, is the right observation, because somehow in the back home, the home is quite present somehow in the title, but it's present even with the, I mean, in the image, or like the other work, Home to Go, you know. With the process of homecoming in the column, you know, that becomes more subtle and more abstract. But more than the idea of the home as a place, it has to do, I think, with the idea of, you know, kind of lost stability, you know, lost references. You know, for me, home is more like a place that it's a metaphor of a reference, that it's in front of you, and then you find kind of protection under this stability, you know, created. And missing this stability creates a kind of trouble, creates a kind of tension. And this journey somehow, this journey to go back to this stability is a kind of effort that you do to get what you lost. But of course, in this journey, never things work perfectly. So you never get totally, you know, what you lost. But it's a process that is showing more the tension of missing than, you know, what you finally get, you know.